And now on to Zambia, where vote counting is on the way, where millions of people yesterday voted in closely contested general and presidential elections. Large queues formed outside many polling stations, suggesting turnout has been very high. President Galungu is seeking a second term but faces a strong challenge from the main opposition party's candidate Hakinde Hichilema against the background of a flagging economy. The day passed largely peaceful, with some isolated incidents of violence. The Zambia Election Commission says results are expected within 72 hours. Now, for an update and analysis of the development around these elections, we're now being joined by civil rights activist Laura Miti. Laura has been associated with the Zambian and South African civil society for more than 25 years, working in various roles and initiatives to strengthen governance system. She currently serves as the executive director for the Alliance for Community Action, an organization which works to grow the demand for public resource accountability in the Zambian public. I want to say welcome, Laura. And Laura, we know that there was a high turnout in terms of voting, but we hear that the elections have been greeted, or post-election has been greeted with quite a lot of violence on ground in three provinces especially. Talk to us about the situation on ground in Zambia.
Um, my sense, and thank you very much for having me. My sense is that the violence has been exaggerated. So it's being spoken about mostly by the government, the president, the ruling party, who it is assumed are on the back foot. They're expected to lose this election. And they are the ones who've been talking about the violence. So it's not widespread violence. There was a case in which someone was accused of trying to stop ballots and unfortunately lost his life. But the other two provinces, I'm not even sure what incidents are being referred to. So what I would say is that the elections for that high turnout were largely peaceful.
Okay, it's good to get your confirmation of that. We understand that the results are due to be released around Sunday. On the back of these allegations of violence and not free and fair, what are we likely to expect when the results are released? Are we hopeful that that will go peacefully?
We really do hope that the results, the announcement of the result will go peacefully, and what we expect to be the transition of power. So, as you know, generally in elections, the kind of turnout in which people begin to queue the night before. We had people spending a night on the queue. We had people 8 hours on the queue from 2 in the morning. Is usually a result of people seeking change. It's rare that people trying to reinstitute the incumbent will direct that kind of energy and determination. So that's what happened here. The turnout was amazing. I mean, nobody expected it. Not civil society, not the opposition, not the ruling party. And so the initial results show a major win for the opposition. Already we began to hear, of course, from the government that the elections might not be free and fair, but that's strange because they are the ruling party. They are the ones who run the government. So we can only hope that when the results are announced, we will have the traditional transfer of power that Zambia is known for.
All right. What are the chances of Ichilema? We know that he's running for a third time against President Lungu, and there are talks that he might just pip the race. But talk to us. What are his chances looking like right now as we speak?
His chances look very good. Mr. Hichilema has held on to the promises that he won in the last election. And you might know that in 2016, the win by the incumbent was very small, 100,000 votes, 1 percentage point. Now, what has happened is Mr. Hichilema has held on to all the areas that he won in that election and then made major inroads in the areas that the incumbent won. So just anecdotally, just basic maths shows that there's a shift in power.
Okay. Just to get a sense, because you've emphasized the voter turnout, to get a sense of what that was like, we understand that you have over 80% of voter registration. Did the turnout match that? And in addition, I think Lusaka is being focused on as the state to swing the vote. Tell us a bit about Lusaka and why it has that particular focus.
Lusaka is the capital city, and generally when we've had changes of government, it takes the lead. And in this case, it's considered the swing because in the last election, it went mostly to the ruling party. Almost the whole province went to the ruling party. And in this case, all the announced results show the opposition having won. And so just by getting Lusaka and adding to their own traditional strongholds, it does seem as though Mr. Hichilema will be in a good position.
Okay, and the voter turnout, did it match the voter registration of above 80%?
I would expect so. I'm not very sure about the statistics. All I know is that it was amazing. So I would be very surprised if it was any less than 80%. It felt as though everybody who could possibly vote turned up.
All right, Laura.
So I've been in many elections before, and I've never seen this kind of turnout before.
All right, Laura. Some are claiming that this particular election is a test of democracy in Zambia. Would you ascribe it so?
Oh, yes. Our democracy has been in dire straits in the last 7 years. So as you know, Zambia has changed governments quite. This will be our 7th president. So we have a tradition of changing presidents, and our democratic conditions were quite strong. But in this last term of office, quite a lot happened that began to frighten Zambians in terms of the civic space, expression, self-expression. Even in this particular election, campaigning, the opposition leader was unable to campaign freely, which again is a completely new in the Zambian context. So the worry was that if, for example, the ruling party won the election, that regression would continue. And so it was a test. It was a major test. And there's a real celebration that if the opposition wins, it's not really about the opposition. It's about Zambia as a country. It's about Zambia's ability to hold its leaders to account. And so for me as a civic actor, this election is not, it's not really about supporting one or the other, but it is Zambians holding for themselves that ability to ensure that leaders serve at their pleasure.
Okay, well, yes, we look forward to seeing how that plays out. Thank you, Laura Miti, state actor and executive director of the Alliance for Community Action, for joining us on Newsday.